How's it going, everybody? Mike back at you with another edition of 5 Minute Gaming. And this show is one that's special to me because this pinball machine I'm going to play virtually, based on a real pinball machine, has a lot of history. And it's an interesting history. So I'm going to show you the image of this game. It's called Wheel of Fortune by Stern Pinball. And this is from the early 2000s, back in a time when I was just getting into pinball collecting. And when it comes to Wheel of Fortune, this is a game probably most of you have never heard of. And those of you that are pinball people, I'm sure you've heard of it, and most of you probably have never owned it. I am going to say on the record that I think this is one of the prettiest pinball machines ever made. I've never seen anything so sparkly with so many purple hues, and it's just beautiful to look at. It's one of those that in real life, when you see it, you just want to stare at it for a while. It's got this beautiful wheel on the playfield that turns and behaves just like you would want in a game. This is an example of how pinball machines can create just little tiny little worlds that you can explore. That's the good part. This is the not so good part. The game had a rule set that was hard to understand. When you play Wheel of Fortune, what do you think? Oh, I can solve puzzles just like the game show. Well, do you solve puzzles in this game? Yes. Can you actually solve them yourself by saying or typing in what the puzzle is? No. And that, I think, is one of the biggest downfalls of this game. And I'm sure the people who made it, if they were here, they would say they wanted to do it, they tried to figure out a way, and they probably couldn't. Now, also, this game was made at a time when it was done for operators, meaning this game was about putting it on location. And I'm sure the logistics behind trying to put in some kind of keyboard or allowing you to somehow solve a puzzle were too much. Now, in today's times, if they made this game, I'm sure they would have the ability for you to add a keyboard, some way to solve the puzzles like you really are supposed to. So with that being said, let's play some Wheel of Fortune. So cool, just how you would expect it to be. Now, up at the top, there's a toss-up, which is a skill shot. Very hard to get.
The category for round one is same name.
And actually, I'm going to stop the action for a second, and I'm going to point out a couple things. Up here at the top, there are 3 contestants. You've got Lonnie. Lonnie is based on Lonnie Ropp, who was in the development division of Stern Pinball. Maria is also from Stern Pinball, and I believe she worked in the shipping and receiving department. Keith Johnson is very well known in the pinball world as a programmer. He now works for Jersey Jack Pinball, and Keith is known for making rule sets deep and interesting, and I think he did everything he could with this game, but he just couldn't make it work. A designer of the game was Dennis Nordman, and Dennis did something a little different. There's a term called the Italian bottom of a pinball machine, and that's where you've got 2 flippers, side lanes, and a main drain down the center. Now, this is different. There's a huge flipper gap, and there's a center post right here that the ball can bounce off of. Very different than the traditional Italian bottom design, and I'm going to say for the record, I like it. I think it's great, but that was another strike that collectors made against the game and other people because they felt it was, you lost your ball a lot. I disagree on that. Herein lies the history of Wheel of Fortune, and this is a game that I rarely see anywhere. Would I like to own this game someday? I think this would be a fun game to have, but I don't think I'll own it. Because I already have enough, and I'm trying to make some space. The sound design was done by my good friend David Thiel, and he wrote all the music. He even sings in a couple of the songs, a little background, and he did all the sound effects.
Let's do a toss-up.
He has given a great talk in another video about his work on this game. All right, I need to focus. I've been doing a lot of talking here.
Use that free spin and keep your turn.
So again, I got a free spin because I got those lights lit down there. And that's another neat way. There's a lot of ways that if you lose your ball, you can get it back. More than typical pinball game. And I will admit that the rules, I am not very fluent in the rules of this game. I have tried, they are hard to understand. What I know is that, for instance, see how Maria is flashing? Okay, and then on the wheel, there's the red and yellow and blue flashing lights. So if I hit Maria, I'm gonna get what's flashing. So if I hit Maria, I'm gonna get a trip. And that would actually be a fun mode to get because I'll get some special music and I'll have some kind of an experience with that. So if I hit Maria, I'll get the trip. Let's see if I can do it. St. Louis, Missouri. And I got Africa multi-ball. David Thiel is the one you hear going, wheel.
Triple jackpot.
My gosh, look at that. Well, a little bit of that is attributed to the large space between the flippers. We might not hear it this game, but sometimes Pat Sajak likes to ask the contestants questions about themselves, like he would on the game show, and he asks Maria, where are you from, and what do you do? And she says, I'm from Hollywood, and I'm an astrologist. And he says, I bet you see a lot of stars. My son Kyle would like that.
Keep the wheel spinning for a goodie bag of points.
All right, let's keep the wheel spinning. Keep it spinning.
Use that free spin and keep your turn. People is the category. 90,000. Lonnie Ropp from Screamin' Holler, Kentucky.
That's right. Yes, I am. And I'm proud of it.
I was there once, accidentally.
There's a funny Pat joke.
And what do you do in Screamin' Holler?
I work for a major pinball company.
You know, you're in a pinball game now.
Clever.
Wild card for a wild player.
N!
Yes, 2 N's.
I did another show on a pinball machine called Champion Pub, which is my friend Byron's favorite game. I'm going to put a link to that right up there. Why don't you go check it out, and I'll see you over there, and we'll do a little boxing.
W.
We have a W, 60,000.